Hi folks, as winter and the very wet weather season is approaching, it's time to start sealing up the car and providing the stronger layer of protections to it. This video is going to be done on the R32 and it has just recently had a hand polish and seal up with a Carlack 915 wax. So the paint works relatively well protected. It's time now to look at the glass, and these two products here, one's a polish and one's a glass sealer or water repellent, and basically, as the name suggests, these are going to clean, the compound's going to clean the glass in preparation for the glass sealer. And the glass sealer is really going to provide water protection and beat off over approximately sort of 40 miles an hour. Very, very handy in the wet weather season, and certainly coming up to the winter time when it gets a bit frosty, it can keep the condensation off the windscreen and glass work around the car, make life that bit easier. But anyway, I'm going to crack on with these and take a wee video as I go around applying these two products. Just as a heads up, I have just given the car a wash. I haven't put any products on the windscreen. Literally give the car a good wash, including the glass, and dried it off and been round the car 3 or 4 times to make sure the glass is as dry as possible. That's the only real prep you need to do. And I would suggest making the glass, or try to make the glass as dry as possible, more to make sure it doesn't come off, like a bit of water doesn't come out from a joint, for example, and hamper the application of either of the two products. So get the glass as dry and as clean as possible. So anyway, we'll move on and start applying these products here. Okie dokie. As you can see, I'm set up on the left hand side of the R32 here. So using a microfiber pad, nothing too fancy here, but foam filled microfiber pad, ideal for this sort of job and any sort of polish that way. And actually the cap is off the glass compounder polish here. So I'm going to apply a little bit onto the pad, try and get the pad loaded up and start applying it around the outside of the glass, and then work my way in, and probably have to top up the pad in between times. But anyway, I'll get cracking with this. I'll actually fold up the pad to try and even out the coverage on it. Get a little more onto the pad. I've obviously given the bottle a good shake here as well. Try and be fairly thorough in your application here, and it sort of does like having a bit of effort put into its application. As you could probably hear from my voice, I'm putting on a little pressure here to try and work it in. Add a wee tiny drop more just to make sure I've got a good even application. And that's pretty much it. It is quite a simple product to apply that way. I'm just being very cautious, or I should say being a bit of a perfectionist, making sure I get around all the edges, don't have any miss spots. And then for the ease of taking the video, I'll obviously move on to the front left hand window, and actually don't forget about doing your wing mirrors as well. Then really it's a case of leaving the polish, but like any sort of hand polish, it'll sort of haze off and go slightly grey. Once those two are all grey, are all dried out, I should say once all the windows have been applied and polished and they've all dried, you can then go around and buff it all off. It's quite an easy compound to take off, so don't worry about leaving it too hard to dry or too long to dry. So I'll crack on as I said, do this next window, the wing mirror, and I'll come back to you whenever I'm at the stage where it's all buffed off. Okay, time to move on to the other windows. Okay, time to remove the polish, and this should just wipe off without any real effort. It may well be difficult to put across in the camera, but there's no real drag here. I purposely did not apply a great deal of polish because it just makes it harder to take off. So as you can see, that's it fairly clean there. And that minimises any sort of watermarks and stuff like that on the glass. It can help remove them. So yeah, I'll move around the rest of the car, remove any of the residue from the glass compound, and then we can look at sealing up the glass. Okay folks, on to the next step of actually applying the glass sealant product onto the car. Apologies in advance folks, by the way, if that sun's quite bright. Hopefully the video comes out okay, but I'll find out at the editing stage anyway, so apologies if the video is a bit bad. Anyway, this product is like an alcohol, so a small amount into this sort of cotton style polishing pad, and you'll find it'll be like a greasy oil. Use as little as you possibly can because it can be difficult to remove. Basically I'll run around all the glass, apply this product sparingly as mentioned, leave it to dry for about 10 minutes, and again it will go sort of hazy, and then we can buff it off with a wet microfiber towel. Okay folks, that is the passenger side of the car done. I'll now work my way around to the back side, other side and the front and get that applied. Okay, time for the last step to remove the glass sealant. This is obviously a microfiber cloth, so this has been put onto the cold water tap just to slightly dampen the towel, and I will then use it to remove the glass sealer, like so. Try to be quite thorough with it and get it all removed quite well. There we go, that's that glass done. And what the water's meant to do is actually activate the product, plus aid you in the removal process as well. So I'll crack on and get the other windows done. Okay folks, that is pretty much the windows all done now. I'm very happy with the result. It's been a wee while since I've used that product, and some of the guys that have maybe been detailing cars as long as myself will probably recognise some of the products. Carlack stuff's been around for years and it's a very, very good product. The 2-pack that it used to come with had a very old sort of glass compound with it, which I've replaced with their newer formula. It used to be really, really difficult to work with, but the newer glass compound is much, much easier to work with, as you could see yourself. Anyway, that's the windows protected. Everything seems to be good to go. I'll run round with the cloth, give it a quick rinse out again, go round the windows and make sure there's no missed spots, and that should be me pretty much ready to go through the sort of wet season and winter season. We can go from there. Naturally there's loads of other newer products and stuff out there, but I always quite like the Carlack stuff and it works and I have plenty of it. But H2Go and G-Technique and stuff have their own versions of it, so if you just want to try them, go for it by all means, but I quite like the Carlack stuff and it works for me. Hopefully that videos have helped to you folks anyway. Naturally, any sort of comments or queries, feel free to stick them down in the comments, and naturally give me a thumbs up and like, share and subscribe. Cheers, all the best, bye.